Rock, what is going on? I'm seeing a bunch of other big wrestler mans become big wrestler actors, and I've seen Rock in a bunch of movies, and he needs to stop.
He's getting you say as he gets paid more than anyone else on the planet.
Well, that's because of family.
Yeah, he's created the machine, and it's what he wanted it to be. He wanted to be the Hollywood action machine. The return of, because here's the thing, like there has been a like the 80s action hero has not really come back. It's just like it's disappeared and then been reinvented into different things. Like here's the John Wick version of what that is, you know?
Yeah.
But there was a time when like there was always a Schwarzenegger movie all around the corner. It whatever was happening, you knew he was working on something.
Yeah,
you know?
if you go back to the period and you look at like movies that Arnold has worked in, you'll see like from like 82 to like 98, he put out like fucking 20 movies.
That's the thing.
Like more than one a year in some years.
And like that's why he would always get talked about with the other contemporaries of Van Damme and Stegall, of course, was doing his thing.
Oh, you seen what's going on with
And
Steven these days?
all I know is he was doing demonstrations in Russia, being really fat and using his McDojo life powers. And it was kind of incredible.
I'm doing big air quotes here on the demonstrations part of that. He's doing that thing where a young man runs at him, and then Steven Seagal like touches his wrist and does a little twirl, and the guy does 10 backflips.
Exactly,
and
exactly.
And then he sits down and he's like exhausted, and it's like, oh.
Yeah, no, Stegall is classic. It's McDojo life. There's a.
Why do you keep saying it like that?
Stegall?
Yeah.
Because that's what we used to call him back in the QA days.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah. We used to make a ton of Steven Seagal jokes, and it got too long, so it just got faster to say Stegall, and everyone knows exactly what you're talking about. And we realized too that with that joke, it's an inside joke, but it's not inside. It's transparent.
Yeah, no, I understood what you meant.
Everyone understands it immediately, but it's a transparent inside joke. So then from then on, we've just been saying Stegall. It gets to the point, you know. But yeah, he's part of this. There's an account you can follow on Instagram called McDojo Life. And it's literally just people from the deepest depths of your like Rex Kwon Do style martial arts that are like lining up with their students that come rushing at them, and then they just do like invisible hados and knock them all over, you know? And I mean, and like it's full credit to like all the Stooges because their performance is the whole video. Usually the person running the grift doesn't put any effort into the energy push. They just stand there and act lazily because, again, they're just dumb idiots. But the person who's getting flipped away, like some of them do backflips and straight up Shawn Michaels overselling, you know, rolling back up onto their feet and then falling again. It's incredible.
You know what's really genuinely depressing about that? Have you ever seen those videos of like these 50, 60-year-old guys who practice this kind of crap? Genuinely of the belief, yeah, I'll fight this MMA guy in his 20s. Yes. And they are, it's so sad because everyone's like basically tricked them.
Yeah.
And these old men just get pounded into dirt.
So there's three places where this goes when you follow these, right? Because there's a bunch of those hilarious ones, and then the natural evolution is a bunch of old dudes doing fucking God, there's a great one where they're all doing like slap foo, where basically it's just doing a bunch of slaps very quickly at the camera and like slapping pieces of paper and then slapping wood behind them and slapping everything, and then they show off their slap formations. And then if you follow some of these accounts or these people where they're like, no, I have a school founded on this whole thing, and I'm currently bilking like 10 students from their every month for some money to learn this bullshit. Someone might come along and go, okay, let's prove it's not, and let's prove how bullshit it is. and then like that is that gets extrapolated further up into the more real versions of it, where there's a dude in China that was like an MMA like professional who like learned a bunch of different styles and all the basics to like, you know, do your BJJ, do to handle wrestling, striking, ground and pound, whatever.
Right.
And then takes that knowledge and goes to a traditional school that's been around forever and goes, guys, I want to show you that this is not everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they're like, this is an insult, whatever, and then they have a fight, and usually there'll be a sifu, you know,
Yeah.
a master that is like on the floor bleeding out in seconds, and then everyone else gets real mad and rushes them down, which is exactly what happens in like the first 10 volumes of Vagabond, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but there has been a weird reaction then that, well, it's not weird, it's predictable, I suppose, but like a lot of those students that realize that, oh, this is embarrassing for the legacy, have
And like
really gotten like hostile with it. And like this one dude in particular, like literally he was being attacked in the streets and he had to hide with his family because people were coming after him because he was disproving a lot of traditional martial arts to be insufficient compared to modern knowledge.
And let's like even extrapolate that further. Let's say you got I'll just use kung fu as an example, like Shaolin kung fu or whatever. Let's say you got this master teaching this school, right? And let's say his actual fundamentals are actually, for sake of argument, good, right? Like in a lot of the shit I'm looking at, I'm like, these guys are in their 60s and they haven't had a real fist fight in like fucking 35 years.
Exactly.
And they're going like, no, I got this. I'm the master. It's like the guy's in his 20s. He'd kill you with nothing.
It's a lot. I mean, technique can go a long way, because here's the thing, is that there are old ass men that are like from, for example, the Gracie family, which is a Brazilian jiu-jitsu dynasty, and like they will be the old guys where like, someone tried to rob one of them at gunpoint. Now the guy's filming it with one hand and laughing as he pins the other guy down and just ragdolls him.
Yeah.
And laughs as the police arrive. You know, it's like, oh no. And it's like, yeah, that dude's an older guy that just like has that understanding of how to destroy somebody regardless.
Listen, it's the unfortunate reality of the male need to look at a situation and go, I bet I could take him.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of this meme that was going around. I'm not sure where it came up, but it was like, hey, ladies, if you want a good time and you have time to kill, just message random guys on your message list what animal they think they could beat in a fight. and it just fucking just the the scroll where you just flick your finger and it just goes and goes and goes. It's like, what am I gonna say?
I got a lot to say. I can think of a couple.
Could I beat a horse? I don't think I could beat a horse.
A black bear though?
No.
Black bear? I could smack a black bear around. I could
probably beat up like a alpaca, I think.
If beat up is like get it to be annoyed and walk away.
No,
to, like,
it's a fight.
It.
No, it's a fight.
If a black bear wanted to end it, then like, no, I don't think so.
Under
but if a black bear was
criteria,
just like looking for food, and I'm like, don't look for food over here. It'll probably be like, fuck, it ain't worth it.
Anybody can tell a black bear to fuck
We're
off
having the conversation. We're doing it. We're literally
I just mentioned it, and we're doing it. You can't help it. And now I'm gonna make my anti-black bear martial art, and I'm gonna use ki with my robe.
Yeah. So the thing that is unfortunately sad about a lot of that too is that in many cases whatever the like traditional style is, the old martial art is, there's oftentimes things that are super strong and useful in it, but the right way to think about it, or the most practical way to think about it, is that Jeet Kune Do style of like, take what's useful, discard what isn't, So I mean, as someone who like dicked around in fucking Wing Chun for a couple seconds and was seeing what was there, and you know what I mean, like, or like this was years ago, but I just remember it was like, oh yeah, this has a lot of really cool stuff for like if you are if you are like really light and the person that's in trying to push you around or whatever is really heavy, you can do stuff with their weight and transfer their weight so that you don't have to deal with it, you know? And
Yeah.
other styles that don't teach you about that are going to be missing out on the benefits of learning to use someone's weight against them, you know? Judo has a lot of good shit with that as well, that you see MMA people using a little bit of this, a little bit of that, because there are bits and pieces that are useful. But, you know,
back when I actually did a little bit of this in high school, what I discovered is that I'm actually so much smaller than most of the people that I was fighting that it's actually really genuinely awkward to punch down. Like punching down at somebody who is that much shorter and is trying to touch your legs.
I
right?
mean, when
It's
you're
weird.
putting hip rotation and torque power into it, and you kind of have to go at that correct height, it is awkward.
Like if I was crouching down to try and grab somebody's knee or something, they're trying to punch like 4, maybe 5 feet down.
There's a clip of Oscar De La Hoya fucking around in a ring with Shaq, and it's like, what? On the one hand, you have a legendary boxer. On the other hand, you've got just a fucking beast of a man, and with no boxing talent whatsoever. It's still Shaq, and Shaq can still just no, back up, Oscar.
The saddest
Back
piece
up,
of
Oscar.
advice I ever got from my teacher at the time was like, listen, you can learn to be really good, but boy, it is an infinite gap to cross even 10 pounds of mass, 20 pounds of mass. And if you're dealing with somebody who is like a foot taller than you and weighs over 100 pounds more than you, literally look us dead in the eye and just go run.
Yeah, that's it, man.
Stab them.
And then the other thing too is, because like with all aspects of everything in human history, is like, as we go further in, we understand more, and like the knowledge can be shared really readily and easily. So these days it's like, do you really want to pick a street fight with God knows who knows God knows what? You know what I mean? Like, you never know what that tiny person fucking knows, and like whether or not they can just destroy you.
Like, I know, sir, that you're in your mid-40s and you've been training under that waterfall and doing your katas and doing your energy moves your whole life. And I know this Logan Paul kid with the MMA background looks like a pussy, but he can make the veins on his arms get really big.
He can.
So are you sure, Ryu, that you feel like you can take him?
Look at this giant Naruto weeb. What a loser. Let's go pick on him. Oh, god damn it, he's a style bender. Oh no. Oh god, run. It's over. Yeah, you never know, you know. The last thing about that guy though, who was the MMA guy in China, who was like doing a lot of this touring and fighting these different schools and stuff, was, of all the hostility that he and his family got, the one place where everyone was super chill and accepting was the Shaolin monks. Oh, yeah. And when he went to Shaolin and like had the same thing, they were just like, oh shit, yeah, okay, no, that's cool, man. You know, like, updating is good. We understand. Yep, totally. You know what? That's
the most hyper traditionalist fighting arena that's ever existed in the history of the world.
Flexible, willing to adapt. You know,
they want to live a peaceful life and also do cool shit. Yeah. It's not actually that rigid. It's just, you know, all the stuff.
But that's the thing, is they're missing the ego damage that the others are taking, especially if they've dedicated, you know, like 15, 20 years to this thing, than to be told someone comes along and shits on it, you know. It's...
Here's my advice. Never dedicate 10 to 15 years to anything. Then no one will be able to tell you that you wasted your time.
Well, shit. That creates a lot of problems.
Only learn a couple skills somewhat.
Never commit to anything you can't walk out on in 60 seconds.
That's right.
Okay. Well,
All right.